Hey guys, it's Peter Cunha, your New Jersey real estate giant, broker owner of Open Doors, and we're doing our business spotlight of the day or the week. And I'm here with my buddy Ian Kansky. How you doing,
I'm doing well. Thank you, Peter, and thank you for having me. Happy to be
Ian?
part of Open Doors.
Yeah, no, this is exciting because you and I have had many I guess one-on-one sit downs just kind of talking about what you do kind of overall. And I'll tee this up by saying that, when it comes to life insurance, like I automatically think of you. Who are you working with? You mentioned that it's one of the largest companies, strategies for wealth. And could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. So I work for a company called Strategies for Wealth. We're the largest guardian agency in the United States. We primarily focus on helping people protect their income, and we use products such as life insurance, long-term care, and disability to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, and one of these things is like protecting income. A lot of people are asking me, from a real estate perspective, what are you seeing in the market? Who's being affected by the higher interest rates or just inflation rates? Things that you and I have zero control over. And one of the things that I've asked you before is, who I'm saying the most affected by this are the senior people that are on fixed incomes and can't work anymore. When you say kind of protecting people's income, what do you mean by that?
So we want to make sure that people have uninterrupted income for life. When folks are older and they are pulling money from their retirement accounts and markets are moving up and down, that can be a scary place to be. So, how do we create a sturdy financial strategy where they don't always have to be drawing market money from the markets, right? So, there are cash value life insurance policies that are non-correlating assets that can help people choose which bucket they're going to pull income from, which creates, which gives people options, right? It's not always that when the market's down, I have to take money from here. Oh, wait, I have a non-correlating asset that I can also take money from. So it gives you choices.
Okay, no, and I appreciate that. Listen, I'm hearing a lot of people struggle. It breaks my heart when somebody says, "Hey, I own this very modest house. It's in a 55 plus community. It's probably going to be the last place. It's their forever home, as they say." And they just, because they're financially strapped, they have to either refi, which kind of stinks because, last time I checked, interest rates were getting close to 7, and they're paying 3% now, but they just have no way of generating income. So, they've done everything right. Maybe they haven't gotten in touch with someone like you, which they need to, right? Like that's the key is they need to have a game plan. Nobody wants to pay for it, but we all need it, right? It's always like I always find that there's typically three things that people need. They need a planner, an accountant, and they need life insurance, right? God forbid something happens. These are all kind of things that are out of our control, and usually like big ticket items where the people that need it the most or the least are usually the people that use it the least, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and one thing that you and I have talked about that always kind of really, again, for me, it's like the more it touches my heart, the more necessary it is. Um, Disability, especially with families with like a lot. You hear a lot about special needs. Do you offer like products for that?
So yes, absolutely. So one of my specialties or focuses is special needs, primarily special needs and business owners. I find that eventually both are going to go through a transition. A special needs mom or dad, who's usually primary caregiver, eventually won't be. And the same with a business owner, where they currently own their business. In the future, they will not own their business. So when it comes to special needs planning and disability, we need to control what we can control, and the things that we can't control, we can't control.
Right.
And when we're putting together our strategy, we need to say, okay, I can control my savings rate. I can control which products I put in place, and I can control whether or not I will lose my entire income if something out of my control happens, like a sickness.
Okay, I'm gonna probably throw the question that everybody that wants to know, including myself, right,
Okay.
is for somebody that thinks that this isn't, it's not, this is what rich people do, or something along those lines. Because a lot of times people are like, "Hey, listen, we're already maxed out on everything."
Yeah.
How does somebody that is concerned about this, but financially doesn't think that they can do this? Because one of the things when we sat down, you talked about, I guess, and again, I am the worst person to be talking about this, but term
No
life,
problem.
yeah, term life versus
Whole life
whole
or
life
permanent.
or permanent, right? And I always used to think it was going to cost $2,000 a month, right?
Right.
And I sit down with you, and you're like, Pete, it's not that bad. You know,
Yeah.
what's the process? Tell us a little bit about the differences, and how somebody to get just a basic package. Is there a minimum involved? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think that I like to start with the premise that zero is unacceptable, right? We can do something other than zero. And each family situation is different and everything within a budget, right? So if your budget only allows, or your cash flow only allows for X, then we're going to find a product that will accomplish the goal that fits into the cash flow. For me, one of the last things I want my clients to do is be like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to pay for this thing again, right? It should just be one of those things like you buy a cup of coffee in the morning. Oh, $3, I'm good, go, and I'm off to the next thing. You never want to think about it. But when you're thinking about your family, the group that you love more than life itself, from the moon and back,
Right,
you also know that for $40, $60, $70, $100 a month, that God forbid something outside of my control happens, that my family is going to be taken care of. And I really feel that my best clients are those that are not about themselves, but about their families. And so to answer your question to the point is that we can make something happen, right? We understand that we would like to have it, and sometimes it seems expensive, but it may not be. And actually, it doesn't have to be.
right, it's funny that you said that because I am always, I'm part of a program where, no is not an option, right? It's always like you figure it out. And even me as a realtor, I know that, there's a lot of, not uncertainty, there's just kind of a lot of confusion to the real estate market.
Yeah,
And what a lot of realtors are trying to figure out is like, how am I going to generate income going into this next year? Which is, we're seeing kind of what I call a pause button in the real estate market a little bit because buyers are holding out. They're being affected by interest rates. And then the second part is like, sellers are now like, oh my God, I missed the bubble or what the presumed bubble. And I still got to sell my house because I want to move down to Florida or South Carolina or something like that. And
so so I agree. Confusion in the real estate market, also confusion in the life insurance, disability, and long-term care markets. Horribly confusing, where people just kind of lump together terms that mean completely different things that they're lumping together to mean the same thing. An example of that is permanent insurance. All permanent insurance is not just one product, right? And there's a lot of facets of it. So we need to divide them up so that we can put them in categories to say, okay, this is whole life, this is universal life, this is variable universal life, and index universal life. And then how does each one impact you? And then there's term. Term is very much like renting, right? You get in for a certain period of time. When your time is done, you either pay more rent or you move out. Very similar with term. But you would like to buy term from a mutual company so that if you want to convert it to universal life, whole life, or one of these other products, you have the ability to do so in the most efficient manner possible. So not only does it become important which product you're buying for cash flow as well
right,
as savings, but also which company you're buying it from.
right. No, and I think it's important to really understand that, it's you've been in the business for how long? I don't want to age you here, but how long have you been in the business?
So I have been in financial services my entire life. My dad actually owned a brokerage house. So when I was born, I worked on Wall Street for 15 years. Then I was a 15-year business owner in several businesses, and then back to this business. So let's see, since I've come back, it's been about 7 years.
Yeah, and I think it's important that people understand, it's I see a lot of there's playbooks where I think you're a little bit different. You build really deep relationships. We were talking off camera about this. It's listen, we're not trying to go a mile wide and an inch deep. We're really trying to understand our clients, their needs, and deliver, that mile deep service. And I think it's so important because a lot of times people will pitch me on insurance, and it's like I'm buying a used car. I feel disgusting, it's kind of
Yeah.
they tell me what's wrong with my life or, this and that. And it's like, I just want to be talked to, right? I just want to have this
Yeah.
conversation.
So not everything is devastating, right?
Right.
And not everything is doom and gloom. What if we could say it's all going to be great and it all works out? That's what I that's what we want to plan for. It's all going to be great and it's all going to work out. Yeah, there could be a couple of bumps in the road and we'll talk about those, but don't tell it to me like I'm running away from the devil. Like that's a really bad thing. So
Right.
I think in agreement what you said, communication is everything, right? How do we build it, right? A mile deep and make sure that we have nice relationships with our clients. And I believe wholeheartedly that communication is number one. Send me an email, I get back to you. It's not like a week and like, where is this guy, right? I want to get back to you within 24 hours and make sure that you know where I am at all times and I know where you are at all times and that we're on the same page when it comes to your strategy. Super important.
Right. And that's what I loved about how getting you on this on this YouTube business partner of the week was because we have just similar philosophies when it comes to that. You can agree on that, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about the client. So let's do some fun stuff. Thank you for all the info. Kansky, how do they get in touch with you? What's your phone number?
So the best way to get me is, I guess, cell phone, 732-598-4952. Or you can reach me by email, Ian_Kansky, Kansky, at strategies for, FOR, wealth.com.
Yeah, and if you missed that, we'll have it in the comment sections below. Here's a fun part that I love to do. I like to put people on the spot, right? You're not a concert goer, but a music guy. What's the last concert you went to?
So it's been a little while since I've been to a concert, but my son dragged me out to an Eminem Rihanna concert at MetLife Stadium. It was fantastic. So you know how it is with your kids. You become fans of what they're fans of. So I'm a pretty big Eminem fan. But my son ditched me halfway through the concert and went down to the floor while I was still up in the seats. So
Right.
we had a really good time. Thank God for cell phones. It makes it a lot easier to find one another.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Rihanna fan. I think if my 8-year-old daughter said I want to go see Rihanna, I'd do my best or darndest to try to get as close to the stage as possible.
Absolutely.
Did you hear the stat? She's now a billionaire.
The what?
Rihanna is a billionaire.
Oh, I did not hear that. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
surprised.
it's insane. You
It
know,
is.
and I just wasn't expecting that from you. That Eminem and Rihanna. Like I don't think I could picture myself at one of those concerts. So anything that's interesting, like I always think, like because it's Eminem, is it like a Grateful Dead show? Do you just get contact high there, or is it pretty tame?
It's pretty tame. I do believe that he is an outstanding word. Um, just what is it? Linguistics, right? He puts it all together. He does a really nice job of rhyming it, no matter what it is.
Right.
So when you watch 8 Mile and they just kind of start rapping about whatever the topic is at the time,
Right.
I just think that he is a genius when it comes to words.
All right. If I'm really going to put you on the spot, can you sing any Eminem songs?
Not a song. I can't sing any song. I cannot carry a note.
Right. I honestly I think of what's the Dr. Dre song? Every time you move your lips, nothing comes out but a bunch of gibberish, right?
That's great.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Ian, I appreciate your time. Thank you for doing this. Again, if you're looking for, just kind of insurance, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Ian directly. And we'd love to just get a chat and, please subscribe and add some comments down below. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Peter.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.